Okay. Okay, so the next one is more about the BIG group. So what is Bristol Interaction Group, and sort of what types of things do you mainly research and look into?
Yeah, okay. So I never heard anybody spell it out, BIG. It sounds like some kind of hip hop thing
I'll
or
guess I'm
something.
the first.
Big group. We call ourselves the big group. Pun intended, right? I always say. So Bristol Interaction Group, we're interested in the big questions in HCI. Pun intended, right? Um, so because we're a research lab or research group, we're interested in pushing the boundary of HCI on a range of fronts.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, coming back to this idea that we're interested in engineering the technology, designing it. We know how, conceptually designing it and engaging with people to design it, engineering it, so there's a technical challenge, and then understanding the impact. So we're interested in these three things, and we do this across a range of things. Like big is organized, so we're interested in those big questions across those things. How do we push the boundaries of HCI really? And we kind of organize around 5 pillars that helps communicate what we do to the world. So we're interested that we have the kind of big tech, we call it the big tech pillar. So that's really looking at how we push the engineering and fabrication aspects of HCI, but also looking at how we can put that at the hands of people. If you think about how technology is designed, we have big tech companies that do stuff, and we sort of passive consumers. We're not really interested in that. We're thinking, can we actually empower people to become the own producers of technology? And how do we do that? What are the processes? What are the fabrication engineering processes that actually put the technology in the hands of people? If you think of 3D printing, for example, 3D printing has made it very easy for people to just create things in plastic. Okay, what about other stuff? What about computing and electronics? Can we do the same for that? So big tech is interested in pushing the engineering and fabrication aspects of HCI. Then we have big access. That's my area. So looking at accessibility and assistive technology. So here, what we think about is how do we actually make society more inclusive of the widest range of people, particularly people with disabilities. So people live in this world, they have different ways of experiencing the world, they have different abilities and disabilities. We're interested in designing for everybody at the same time. So that's quite a challenge. So if I have a disability of sorts, or you have a disability of sorts, and then we're interacting with each other, how can the technology accommodate us both? And in our accommodations, make our interaction richer and more interesting and more meaningful. So we're interested in that aspect. And it's, again, every single one of those have kind of those 3 aspects that I said: the engineering, the design, and the impact. Then we have the big health. So we have a strong interest in digital health and how we design digital health technology to help people think about their health and their well-being and managing their health conditions and so on. We have big everywhere. Again, going back to the idea that technology is everywhere. If you're testing something in the lab in a nice controlled environment, it's very different from deploying it in the wild, as it were. And how do we design for those contexts? And again, not just a single group individual, but even at a societal or even a species level. Okay. And then we have a big culture. Okay. Here we're interested in looking specifically at the place of art and culture and self-expression in designing technology, and how do we both get informed from those perspectives to design technology, and how does technology influence culture? And finally, we have big sustain. So we're interested in sustainability because, well, how do you do all of this stuff while at the same time maintaining a balance between the well-being of the species and their environment, right? So that we have a strong anchor of sustainability. So that's kind of what big is. So we push the boundaries of HCI across those 3 pillars, but we're also interested in those 5 areas that helps us communicate what we do more precisely to everybody else. Does that make sense?